One of my viewers, Jack Tyler, asked, if you were starting from scratch with an empty garage, with workbenches, storage racks, and other household projects in front of you, which would you buy first, table saw or miter saw? Also, one of my neighbors, Doc, asked me some similar questions about setting up his garage workshop. So I'm going to respond to both Jack and Doc by showing all the tools you might need to set up your garage workshop from scratch. I've listed everything you'll need in the description below, along with the links to all the videos I referred to in this video. Now I'm working under the assumption that both Jack and Doc have few if any tools. Their garages are all but empty except for their vehicles. They want to gradually build out a garage workshop with a bench and shelving, and they have to work within a budget. There are numerous videos on how to build benches and shelving, so I'm not going to cover any of that. I'm just going to cover the power and hand tools necessary to build them. In other words, if you have all of these tools, you should be able to build out your garage workshop. One of the first things you will need is a working surface to set your tools on and to do your assembling. Obviously, you can get a pair of sawhorses and throw a piece of plywood over them for a quick and easy workbench. My preference is either a Wormate 425 or a folding table, or both. I like the Wormate for its clamping capabilities, but it does not provide a large work area for assembly, whereas the folding table provides nearly triple the working surface. If I was starting from scratch, I'd find both of these on Craigslist, bolt my table saw to the Wormate, and using the folding table for assembly. Jack Tyler was asking which should be purchased first, a table saw or a miter saw. Knowing that you'll most likely be ripping plywood for your benchtop and shelving, you will definitely need a table saw, as you can't rip large panels with a miter saw. While the rip capacity on this Harbor Freight saw is limited, you can rip large sheets without the fence. But it requires some skill and 2 pairs of hands to pull it off. I've done this, but it's very tricky. The next step up from this saw is the Ryobi RTS 21G, has a rip capacity of about 27 inches. And then one more step above this is the Rigid R4516, has a slightly smaller rip capacity of 24 inches, but it does have a lot more features. If you have the budget to move up 1 or 2 steps from something like the Harbor Freight saw, I recommend that you do so. The links to my reviews for all 3 of these saws are in the description. Obviously, you'll need a power cord for your power tools. I strongly recommend getting a 12-gauge power cord, as it will have enough electrical throughput for just about any garage workshop power tool you might buy. Also, you're going to need to have a way to store your power cord, and this simple frame you see here is only a few bucks and works quite well. Again, I'm working under the assumption that Jack and Doc have very few if any hand tools. With this in mind, a basic toolkit like this 130-piece set is more than sufficient to get started. It includes a good variety of sockets, open-ended wrenches, and it does have all the driver bits you'll need to assemble your projects. It also has several wrenches, pliers, and assorted screwdrivers. While this set does have a hammer and a 10-foot tape measure, you're going to need to replace them with something better. You're going to need a longer tape measure, say 25 to 30 feet, to measure out your shelving, and a 16-ounce claw hammer for a number of different jobs. Let's take a look at drills. If you're on a very tight budget, you can start with a corded drill, which can run you less than $20. While not as convenient, it can get the job done. If you have the budget for a cordless drill, make certain you get a drill with lithium batteries and not NiCad, which have a number of drawbacks, and make sure you get a second battery. Of course, you'll need drill and driver bits. Some drills come as a set with both, so make sure you balance that out against the driver bits that come with your tool set. If your bench or shelving designs call for countersinking bolts, you'll need to extend your set with larger drill bits such as these. As my friend Chris Parker over at CP Builds will tell you, you can never have too many clamps. Here you see 3 different types of clamps: the venerable F clamp, the C clamp, and the quick clamp. To start out, you should have at least 2 to 4 F clamps or quick clamps, and then build from there unless your workshop build out calls for something different. Again, you can never have too many clamps. In addition to a tape measure, you will definitely need a 36-inch straight edge for marking out your work, along with a rafter square to mark off your crosscuts. Also remember, garage floors are typically sloped to drain water away. If you want your built-in bench and shelving to be level, you'll obviously need a level. This one is only 16 inches, but for your workshop build-out, I recommend a 36-inch level, as it is long enough to give you a good reading and at the same time short enough to fit into some of those tighter spaces. Most likely you'll want to smooth off some of the edges and corners on your workbench and shelving. For this, you're going to need a sander like the one you see here, along with several grades of sandpaper. Chances are you already have a dustpan and brush for inside the house. If you want the convenience of having one in your workshop, you may want to pick up an extra one. I have both short and long handled sets in my garage for cleanups. Make sure you read, understand, and apply all the operational and safety instructions that come with your tools. And on your first trip to the store, make sure you pick up eye safety, hearing protection, dust mask, and a good pair of gloves. Keep these in a prominent place in your workshop so that they are easy to remember and easy to get to, so that way you'll be sure to use them. This set of tools should get you well on your way to building out your garage workshop. Of course, there may be other tools you'll need to get in order to meet the requirements of your unique build-out. However, this set should get you started. Now let's take a look at some additional tools that you might want to get for your completed workshop. There are perhaps hundreds of tools and accessories on the market today. However, I've narrowed this down to basics with both space and budget in mind. Of course, you may want to substitute some of the tools in this set for others based on the nature of your upcoming projects. Most likely you'll want to attach a vise to your workbench, and they vary in both size and price. These are 2 of the many sizes and types of vices available today. The smaller one has more capabilities than the larger one, but may not be as robust. If you plan on pounding away on something held in your vise, you need to go with something like this larger 5-inch. It is heavy duty and has a working span of about 5 inches. If your future projects include a lot of crosscuts, like perhaps a deck or a gazebo, you might want to think about getting a miter saw. Of course, if you have the budget, this would be a very useful tool for all the crosscuts you'll be doing in building out your workbench and your shelving. A handheld drill is no match for the precision that can be found with a drill press. If your future projects require a larger volume of drilling and/or greater precision, you might want to get a drill press instead of trying to stretch the limitations of a handheld drill. Many of the projects found on this channel were completed with this drill press. While the 130-piece tool set I showed earlier has a variety of wrenches, you may want to pick up some larger ones for those projects that may require a larger span, such as plumbing repairs. Some jobs require as many as 2 large-size wrenches, such as these, which are not found in the typical tool set. This is one item you may want to get at the beginning of your build-out, as it will allow you to plug in multiple power tools off the same extension cord. Be sure to get one that has an overload breaker to protect your equipment. While you may not use them very often, punches are great for countersinking nails, and I can't tell you how many times I've used this little yellow-handled awl to make holes, mark spots for drilling, and scoring lines in various materials. While they are not a must-have, they are really nice to have available in your shop. You probably found during your build-out you didn't have enough clamps. So now would be the time to extend or expand your clamp collection. Remember, you can never have too many clamps. One of my favorite tools around the shop and the house is my cordless screwdriver. This really comes in handy when you have a smaller job to do and you don't want to drag out your drill, charge the battery, and find the driver bits to go with it. With this tool, you just pick it up, go and do the job, and you're done. If your future projects require precision cutting with curves, you will definitely need a jigsaw and a good set of blades to go along with it. Jigsaws are great when you have small cut-off jobs, such as doweling or plastic tubing, and it's not a bad idea to have some metal blades on hand in case you need to cut sheet metal or metal tubing. Some projects require precision work and, at the same time, you need to be able to work in places too small for your fingers. Tweezers are the perfect tools for these types of jobs. They're relatively inexpensive and come in handy over and over again, so make sure you pick up a set. You're always going to have parts left over from new projects, repairs, and discards. There are some really nice transparent part cases on the market today that allow you to see what's inside without having to open them. Also, you're going to want to pick up some additional nuts, bolts, washers, and screws so that between what you collect and the sets that you buy, you're going to save yourself many trips to the store. Many cuts in both wood and metal leave rough edges that don't look nice and, in some cases, may cause injury. So you'll want to file off those rough edges. Files often come in sets that provide you with multiple sizes, widths, and shapes that allow you to work in a variety of projects. Sometimes you need to make a quick cut in some doweling or some tubing, and you don't want to drag out a power tool and set it all up to do the job. In these cases, a hacksaw with either a wood or a metal blade will do the trick and save you some time, so make sure you pick one up. I can't imagine not having one in my shop. I already have more screwdrivers than I will ever use, so I purchased this set just for the smaller screwdrivers on the left-hand side. You will encounter those projects and home repairs that require smaller precision screwdrivers like these. So be sure to pick up a set, whether they are part of a larger set like the one I showed you earlier, or in a set of their own. As I shared with you earlier, there are hundreds more tools and accessories that could be added to your new garage workshop. However, I have narrowed this down to basics with both space and budget in mind. Of course, you may want to substitute some tools in this set for others based on the nature of your upcoming projects, but I believe this list will get you well on your way to a well-rounded workshop. I have reviews for most of the tools discussed in this video, and have placed the links in the description for your convenience, so be sure to check them out before you go shopping. So Jack, Doc, I hope this helps you get off to a fast start on your garage workshop build-outs. If you found this video useful, please press like and share with your friends. If you're not already a subscriber, I would love to have you as a subscriber. Thanks for watching, and as always, good luck on your projects.